Hi, YouTubers. It's been well, actually, this will be my first time actually doing a YouTube video. Um, but I want to actually put this out there because it seems to be very few people like myself who actually give reviews on on their experience with ayahuasca. Ayahuasca was not my first experience. It actually was a boga. Um, but I'm not going to talk about that right now. I'm going to talk about the ayahuasca experience. So, how did my ayahuasca experience come about? Well, first of all, for some reason, the universe seems to lead you in the direction that you're supposed to go. Um, there definitely is no mistakes. I mean, everything happens for a reason. And even if you find yourself in certain situations, is usually there to teach you a lesson. So anyway, I left my job in 2012, and I actually, um, you know, just started traveling, and because I actually was pretty bored with just sitting in an office, and I realized that's not me. So I started doing some carbons. And when I was doing the carbons, one of the carbons, I was actually trying to carve, and these were wood carvings I was doing, but I was actually trying to carve um, uh, an image of like an African woman. But the carving actually turned out to be an Asian woman. Weirdly odd, pretty odd. Not only that, I had a stick that was sitting in my garage for about 2 years. I went, after I'd been hiking, I had this stick sitting there, and I decided to start carving the stick. And when I carved the stick, it actually became a black snake going up, um, going up, the stick. Actually, um, I should probably pause this video if I could. I don't know if I can pause this video. No, I can't. So anyway, I would show you guys the carvings. I have to look for the one with the with the Asian lady. So this is what happened. So anyway, um, I used to date a Asian girl and stuff like that, and I hang. We basically went to Brooklyn. I was doing the drum line in Prospect Park. We met up with a Korean young lady I used to go to. We used to work with a long time ago, also, and she actually is the one who linked me up to the group because she had done the ayahuasca, but she had a horrible experience, and so she referred me to the group. And once she referred me to the group, I was sent the information. I had to join um, a particular church. I'm not religious or anything. I mean, I did that way back when I was younger. Actually, not I can't say way back. You know, but I think a lot of us had the religious upbringing. If I'm originally from Barbados, so um, you know, church is it's over here like apple pie. In the U.S. So you can find a church everywhere. So it was normal for us to be brought up in that type of a mindset. So anyway, but as you begin to have certain experiences, and you realize that you know, well, you don't really need certain things as much. You tend to move away and go in a different direction, which is all good. No judgment on anyone. So anyway, so we go, meet up with a young lady. She did some Reiki on me, and when she did that Reiki, my girlfriend took pictures, and I don't know if I can find the picture because I think it was on a different SIM card. But you can actually, because she's supposed to be pulling down energy, and the funny thing is, in that picture, you actually see a blue light coming down as because she took a couple of pictures. A blue light actually was coming down, and this light actually came down almost on top of my head, out of the clouds. Anyway, so she referred me to go do the experience. So she had a bad experience, almost felt like she had died or dying or whatever. But anyway, so made the carvings and stuff like that. Go, join the club. Go to the first session, and we went to, you dress in white, as they say. Um, you know, we're in this place where, people are sitting, maybe about 20 of us, and I'm the only brother there. That I'm looking around. It's all mainly white folk, and it was the same Asian lady, or looks just like the same haircut and everything I carved. That was actually, she looked just like the carving. So I'm like, wow, okay. And before I even went, I had watched an ayahuasca video, and this guy, he was talking about the serpent mother, this black serpent, and I was like, I want. Is this a coincidence that this staff that I created is like a black serpent, and then this carving that I made looks just like this woman who's going to lead this class. So anyway, my first experience was not like, like other people. So we first of all, we go, they basically dim down the lights, and everything is mellowed out. You got your mat laid out, and then they call you up to start taking the medicine. Now, of course, I took a boga. A boga is one of the nastiest tasting things you'll ever taste. Ayahuasca is bad, but nowhere close to a boga. But anyway, so I go, you know, I took my first shot of the ayahuasca. It's almost like a shot cup they give you, and okay, you go lie down, you don't really feel anything, and then after a little while later, they call you back and they take us the second hit, and didn't feel anything. And then after that, I took the third one. So I took the third one. I lay back down. My stomach is squeezy. I do have digestive issues. For some reason, I don't know if for some of the experiences I've gone through, but my digestive system is not what it should be. But anyway, so lying down there, and my stomach is squeezy, and like a lot of these things, I think I did throw up. I'm not 100% sure because I remember the taste in my throat burning me. So I think yes, I did throw up. I had to get up and went and pee and stuff like that. But it wasn't like a boga where, man, you're like almost like you need help. But this, so went lay back down, and my spine is getting so warm. I mean, it's like this warm energy going up my spine. And you see people talk about the kundalini energy, and the caduceus, and stuff like that. I don't know if that's something you see on the side of a hospital. So I mean, it's like this energy just going up my spine, and it almost, I understood when they were talking about the serpent energy that goes up this. I understood exactly what they mean. It was like fire going up my back, so going up my spine. So what ended up happening is I'm laying there and she's playing the music. I remember one of the guys, her co the co um the person who basically was assisting her with the class. She was beating a drum. Um, she called her self Little O. She was beating the drum, and as she was beating the drum, and I was trying to get comfortable. And first, actually, in the class, as it was dark, and you see some people were moving around who were actually assisting. They just looked like black. They look actually like shadows moving around. And I remember the young lady came and asked me, "Are you okay?" And I looked at her, and I felt like, I don't know, for some reason I felt like hugging her, kiss her, or whatever. So I'm feeling this overwhelming feeling of almost a euphoric feeling, and I look in front of me, and the person in in front of me, you know, it almost looked like, I don't know, like molecules, or like atoms or whatever. It's almost like the body began to break down. You can almost, as I'm looking out to in the room, it almost looked like a grid, like lines, for a grid, almost like we are in a grid. I don't know how to explain it. Some things you have to experience for yourself. But anyway, I'm lying there. She's beating the drums. This is almost like I became like electrified. It's almost like it was almost like, you know, as this electric feeling is going straight through me and energizing me. But it felt good. It felt very euphoric, and then it was almost like, you know, like a like a laugh, and like a, you know, some people said they were crying, and I didn't experience any of that. You know, this was really my main experience. As she was playing the music, it was almost like just causing this energy to just beat through me. And as it was beating through me, every so often it would electrify me, and it's like I'm like vibrating, like like almost it's gonna lift me up off the ground, and I'm gonna float out of my body or something like that. So throughout the night that was happening until it wore off, and I was told, you know, to definitely take deep breaths, and I was like, deep breaths in order to calm myself down, and I'm not gonna make this a long video, because honestly, I didn't have all the other experiences like all the other people. Some people, you know, had, as I said, a lot of weird stuff going on. Mine was just me being electrified, um, and that was basically my experience with ayahuasca. After that, I mean, we got to sat up and we talked about it. Actually, I was the noisiest person in the room, because no one was experiencing. I can't say what it, but no one experienced what I experienced, because at the end of the class, the assistant to little he came and said to me that, it seemed that you made like a major breakthrough. I guess I did, because one thing for sure, with that experience, with that experience, I actually now know what Kundalini energy is. Now I'm sure, it can even go further. Now that was my first experience. My second experience, we went back. Oh, and by the way, yes, when you're before you do the ayahuasca, they do sage you. You have to stretch your arms out and cleanse your body, and before you actually go in and you do the ceremony. I'm gonna put both experiences into one. I don't need to make two videos. The second experience, went back again, and dressing my white. We got the sage down. Go back, and they said no two experiences are alike. Now, during this experience, I had met someone who felt was like a soulmate, because it's almost like the universe are putting people in front of me. I mean, I could tell you, I'm gonna tell you, make a couple other videos and tell you about some other experiences I had, that were mind blowing. I'm just gonna reveal it. So I go, again this time, as opposed to taking three, I'm gonna go all in. I'm going as deep as I can. And believe me, that taste is pretty bad. And this time I took five, of those shots, you know, and this time the energy, of course, I went through the same thing, was more intense, but it was almost like that person who I came across, I recognized with my soulmate. It was almost like I felt, I mean, this is deep, deep love. I was like love and happiness and just joy and laughter. I just was laughing uncontrollably. I mean, they thought